So here's our website. So there are some changes to our page that I want to talk about before we get started on our Photoshop work. And so the network is a bit cleaned up. We now have conversations box that pops up if you talk to people. So if you have a conversation with somebody, you can click on this, and it's sort of like Facebook. You have different options. So there's like a little gear here that you can add people to your chat, or you can leave the chat as well, as well. And so I noticed that there is a problem with that. I was talking to Mr. Force, and he tested out the leave chat function, and I noticed that um, so your name pops up where the chat was, and this sort of bar at the top, which should look like this, doesn't it? It looks like this. Oop. So the bar is sort of half missing. And then if you click on the little gear, you can see it's still there, and you can click on the X if you put your mouse on it. So the site's not perfect. I think our next update for Jom Social, which it's going to take a while to pay for that. It's pretty expensive. Hey, Wee Beast. But when I update that, hopefully some of the bugs will be fixed with regards to the conversations. So like I said before, our social media links have changed. So on Facebook, our fan page is now Stop Motion Magic is the name at the top. So the URL is different, but they wouldn't allow me to change AnimateClay.com fan page to StopMotionMagic.com, fan page. So I wasn't able to change that, which is okay because AnimateClay.com, of course, still works. But if you guys want to subscribe, or you have subscribed, you might not find that page so easily. So, and then also Twitter, I just changed the graphics a bit, and also changed the name from Animate Clay to Stop Motion Magic. And again, we talked about this last time, that I'm just trying to make the site more inclusive to not just clay animators, and so pretty much I've got our little brick film guy and little Lego guy, and we've got clay, and we've also got a foam puppet to sort of symbolize what the site is about, and it's not just clay. So that's pretty much those are the major changes that I've got done. And also the forums I added, trying to think forward in the future. I added a 3D printing, digital, and virtual reality section. So all this kind of stuff is modern technology, newer technology that's being used to make stop motion films. And I think last time we talked a little bit about the virtual reality thing, where people are trying to make virtual reality stop motion films. And I talked about one of the cameras that I was interested in for virtual reality, which is the QCam, and it allows you to actually video stuff in 3D with two separate cameras on like a stick. It's really cool. So you can actually film stop motion for virtual reality now. And 3D printing, of course, is used in films like at Leica, all the stop motion features to 3D print faces and all that. So these are things that people are interested in talking about, I think. So I added that. I think pretty much everything else. So we've got our Legos. J Episodes is mentioning Lego animation, so that's part of the site too. So it's got its own section. It's got a clay animation area just for that. So anything about clay is in that area. And what else did I do? So the 5-week challenges. This is a cool change, I think. So we've got a playlist here, and at the top we have a little button for the playlist. And these are all of our episodes where we talk about our 5-week challenges. So if you can recall, we've had let's see, we had, so trying to think here. So we've got like our Halloween episode. I'm trying to remember. There's one. Well, anyway, all of the beginnings of all the titles are there for you to check out, and you can play it. If I can get this to work here. And so So you'll have to fast forward, of course, through all the beginning intros and stuff. Here we go. Okay. So we've got our old man fishing, the fishing video that we played during one of our live shows. So it does work. I might have to tweak it though, because I think that some of this stuff is not supposed to be here. But anyways, and then we've got our live video podcast as well, which you can check out past broadcasts. Tutorials and articles, I did add a few things. We have behind the scenes, I added this Kent Melton exhibit. And this here shows Kent Melton's work when he put it on exhibit in Springfield, Missouri, where I live. And he's got all kinds of amazing sculptures that are in there, as well as stuff for Coraline and Paranorman, some of his original sculptures, because he was actually one of the people that helped design the characters for those films at Leica. And it was really an awesome exhibit, and so I actually made put it as an article, because to me it's super inspirational to see the actual real sculptures that he used for them to base their models off of, their final designs off of, because they're works in progress, and some of the stuff wasn't used. He's also got some of his stuff for Disney, and also he's got some sculptures that he put on display that were original Disney sculptures that artists used in like the 1940s and 30s. So really cool. So let's go back, and so we've got that, and so the free download section I changed as well. So I updated, we've got our mold making and casting PDFs, which you can download for free. Kind of help you out if you're out there and you're wanting to learn those things for stop motion purposes, of course. And then we've also got, I added the Bendy's armatures, so you can download the files and print out if you have a 3D printer. We've got information on what I use the Wanhao duplicator, but I've got links on here to where you can click them, and it'll bring you to different areas of where to buy all the materials. So for example, on eBay you can get most of the items pretty cheaply. For example, the M4 bolts for the tie downs, and all the files are on Tinkercad. And so these are the first designs that I released or created that we sell in our store, and I'm just releasing it all for free. The stuff in my store is a little bit more advanced, a little bit updated, and more durable and whatnot. But the first designs work just perfectly fine, and the rig is the one that we sell in our store as well. So you can just 3D print these for yourself for free, and use those for your own stop motions as either flying rigs or a surface gauge. So I got all that there, and the flying rig as well we've got. So if you wanted to download those files, and we've got the information on how to, what you need to put that together. And I've also got an instructional video, so it's all right there. Trying to think what else I did here. Where was it? So might be in the beginner guides. Here we are. So if you guys recall, we had built this particular puppet during our live show over the course of about 9 shows. And so this is basically a 9 series tutorial, and I made a playlist. So again, like on the other page for the 5-week challenges, you have a little box here, and hopefully I set all this up correctly. I haven't tested it out yet. But we've got all 9 parts here on how to do that. We've got everything from the designing it. There's one just on creating the eyeballs, I think. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this one here I'm pretty sure is like how to make the eyeballs. These were a lot of fun to make. Let's see here. Yeah, so I kind of go through the process of making the eyes and painting them, and I ended up making a mold for these eyeballs and casting them in plastic. So anyway, I just think that it would be kind of nice to add that to our tutorials because it is pretty extensive. All of these are really long. Each one's an hour, so if you want to spend a week or so, you know, going through these, you can do so. The link section is something I also changed around a little bit. I got rid of some of the stuff that wasn't needed on there. They were just like hit counts and stuff like that. I need to go through all these eventually. I need to click each one and make sure all these links work and get rid of ones that don't. So there's still work to be done, but I don't have too much time right now. And the contact section also I updated, so I think I might have mentioned this the last time. We've got Hoserloo, and O Whiskey, and myself on here. Hoserloo says he's going to work on making writing up some news articles for the site. And so we've got his information. So if you guys have, if you find something you want on the webpage, some sort of news, you can write him. He's got an email. And you can click on his let's see here. Make sure it works first. Okay, it does. So you click on the box and Hoserloo pops up and you can send a message directly here. Same with Mr. Force. You can click, let me make sure this works. Alright, so I don't really understand why exactly this happens here. So all my conversations just randomly open up for no reason. So yeah, as you can see, this site still has some issues, but for the most part it works. And so there you have it. So I guess really that's it. I mean, that's really all that's been changed. I think our YouTube channel, I'll click on the box here. So the name here is Stop Motion Magic. However, our URL is still Animate Clay. So I think that I cannot change that, but that's the main difference, as well as the graphics. So that's pretty much it. All right. So anyways, moving forward. So anyways, so tonight we have we're gonna work on our Bad Apples project. And hey, Hoserloo. And Weeby says thanks for the free downloads. You're welcome. So previously, on our previous episode, we worked on our castle, which is this will be loaded up in our program, Moho. It's called. Let's see here. All right, line this all up. And so there's different doors and things like that, and all this stuff lines up as a PSD file, and we can animate it. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to take a series of pictures that we have, and all of these are like puzzle pieces. So I have two separate sets, if you want to call them sets, these two. And I photographed them, but I couldn't take a picture of all of them and fit them into one picture. So I have, let's see here. So you'll notice, like for example, this picture here, this picture gets cut off about here, somewhere in this area. But this picture, we have extra grass on the right. So we need to combine all of these, and then these had to combine with this one. This set, and I've got different photographs of this one, so I can, you know, take pictures of the entire sculpted surface. So the question is right now is how big. We need to make one large picture, and this one here I'm keeping open. The reason why, there are some elements that I'm probably going to use in the new picture. So let me minimize that one. How big is this picture? So image, image size. So it's 5,184 pixels wide. And the height, so what I'm going to do is, let's see, make it about, so I need an image about 10,000 by 5,000. hoping this is going to be a large enough picture. So we're going to start plopping things in here. It seems like it's large enough, but we're going to find out here. Let's get rid of this one now. I don't know. No, it's not going to be big enough. Alright, so let's do another one. Width. Let's go at 15,000. I think the height's fine. In fact, it probably doesn't even need to be 5,000 high, but that's okay. 15,000 pixels. Let's pop these in here now. And... Oop. Close that one. I don't need that. And this one, plop it in there. Oh, I already put that in there. That's the same picture. Alright. I just didn't close it, I guess. Alright, so get that roughly lined up. So this whole entire thing here is going to be like one giant, let's see, what is this? Oh. Yeah, I think this is probably too wide. That's alright though. So we're going to be able to move the camera around and zoom in on areas. Oops. Where's my chat? There we go. So... Alright. See what I can do here. Ah, there it is. Okay. So the idea here is these will be combined, and so what I'll do is I will, my computer will work here. I'll probably need to add the door here. There's a door that's gonna open up as our mother character comes out. And wait, where is that picture at? Which layer is it? Yeah. So I'm thinking this would be good here. So a lot of this is really, you know, I mean, if you guys have used Photoshop before, it's not really hard to do this. It's pretty simple. The hard part is that's just slightly tilted. The hard part usually is because Photoshop, at least my version of it, is really finicky and buggy because it's an old version. So I'm hoping that it doesn't crash. As you can see, like my little timer thing here is going and it's like stuck because it's a very big picture. So this might be a painful process tonight. Okay, a simple transformation, and it took like 5 seconds there. Alright. Not that 5 seconds is really long, but... Alright, so this particular picture what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to erase the green area and try to combine, see what it would look like if I combine these two spots. And why don't you zoom in, please? Oh my gosh, yeah, Photoshop really doesn't like this. Come on, Photoshop. What are you doing? Yeah, I think it might have locked up. Oh no. Let's see if I can save it. Alright, save as bad apples. Oh. Let's do this. Alright, I'm going to save it and try to open it, and hopefully it will work. If not, I'm not sure what we're going to do tonight. It's like I cannot put my tools over the image to work on this. Yeah, it's locked up. Alright, well, I'll have to reopen it. Let's try that again. Maybe what I should have done is use Krita for this process. Alright, let's try to open it. See what happens. Alright. And at least it opened. Okay, let's try this again. Take my eraser tool. Okay. There we go. Well, it's kind of cooperating now. Alright, yeah, that works. Voila. Now we can combine these. Hey Coles, welcome to the show. Welcome back. So we're trying to currently work on this this finicky Photoshop file and combine some images. So I think what happened here was when I moved around these files or these sets around on my special rig to photograph them, I wasn't being mindful of the angle that was being moved at. So you can see I had to sort of tilt this a bit to get it to work. Trying to line up all these different elements. Kind of strange how it's like this. It's almost like it's a different zoom level, which it shouldn't be. Should not be like that. Alright, well, what I'll do is I'm gonna get close. I wonder why that happened. I wonder if I might have perhaps budged something on the camera. I don't think I would have. That's really weird. Maybe it's just a perspective change. I guess that's what it is, yeah. Almost looks like it's tilting. That's cool. Alright. Live and learn. Okay, so that's not too bad. Gonna move that in just a tad bit. Hey Janet, welcome back. So we're just working on some of our different elements for bad apples. Well, at least Photoshop is working. It really does not like super large files. Okay, so I think the only thing I don't really like is where it meets up here. This line here is sort of looking, how should I say? Yeah, it looks like there's a line there, so we're gonna have to fix this, but I think for the most part this will all work just fine. So I think I'll work on getting this to look nice, and then we can sort of cut out this entire thing. And one of the things that we discussed on a previous show when we were making this bridge is that we'll have like a cycle of painted images here to make it look like there's a little stream kind of under this bridge. Now, I think that I'm missing a photo here. What's going on here? So we got that. How come this is invisible here? That is very peculiar. My layer is missing. Did I make the opacity? I mean, that's why. Opacity, there we go. Alright, so I thought that was, I should move that one underneath this one. So this is pretty much how it works. Krita is a little bit more buggy, believe it or not, than Photoshop. But I have a feeling that it would work a lot better now that they've updated it. And it might be more compatible with Windows 10 than this one. Because this is, I don't know if you guys know, but this is a really old version of Photoshop. This is version CS2. And CS2 is, I think, probably like maybe 10 years old. I mean, it is really old. In terms of software, you know, that's really old. Alright, so what should I do here? I need to definitely fix this up. I'm thinking maybe like I should sort of stretch that maybe, or And this one here I can cut off like most of this. Let's see what this does. Please don't lock up. Oh, okay, good. All right. So what have you guys been up to lately? Have you guys been watching any videos on YouTube or anything new going on in your lives? I mean, for the most part, I've just been working on work. I mean, that's my main thing right now. Is I've been sculpting different things. I have Judy Garland that I'm working on, and that's gonna be fun when that's done. And I've also got Burgess Meredith, I guess is how you say his name. He was the Penguin in the 1966 Batman TV show, so I'm working on that. And what else? Just that, pretty much. We're sculpting and working on the website. Two major things that I have to do. I'm going to move this over. I'll have to shift everything else as well, but I'm going to move this down here somewhere. See what this looks like. I think that's a better distance. Having the trees the same distance from this bridge, just symmetrically, I think that's nicer. Yeah, that'll work. So that's been my goal. Of course, my son is in school again, so he's having fun in there. My wife's been working really hard, and okay, so I think this looks pretty good. Go up here. Going to see if I can get the brightness to be the same. There we go. So this won't be as noticeable as a line here. And then I'm gonna come in here and sort of erase that line. Blend these a bit together. So you cannot tell that there is a transition there. And see about this line here. Hide that line. Alright, so you'll never be able to tell, hopefully, that these pictures are stitched together. So you can't really tell that there's a stitched picture here, right? Kind of hard to tell. You can tell that when I flip it back and forth, you can see the slight difference. But other than that, you can't. And here, I don't really like this too much still. It's gotta be... This has gotta be cleaned up a bit. Let's see. That looks better. There we go. Alright, so I think that's a lot harder to tell. It looks like it's all one completely sculpted individual piece now. Yeah, Hoserlu, yep. It's for New, I believe they're gonna be in New Jersey. There's like some sort of a, whatchamacallit, a display out there. And in fact, the guy that paints the figures are in New Jersey. They're doing a news piece on it, and so I put together a bunch of videos and things, and those videos will be on television there at some point. Probably within the next 3 weeks or so. I shot about like 20 minutes, well actually more, I shot a couple of hours. I think I whittled it down to about 20 minutes of video. And it's going to be an exclusive for the news out there, one of the news stations. But I did upload it to YouTube, so it's not really exclusive. It's already on YouTube, but you know, nobody can really find it. Alright, so anyways, I'm kind of looking this over. I think this whole entire image is good the way it is. What I need to do, I'm going to save this as a Photoshop document to save all these different layers in case I realize something that I've missed later. But I'm going to take this image that I put together here and I'm going to cut out this entire image and make a new image. And then we got to remove the background and all that kind of good stuff. Let's see if this works. So Janet says, I'm sad because today the UE accepts new law about internet. Yep, I heard about that. Heard about it, but I didn't really study it too much. Alright, so copy all that, copy merged, make a new document, and paste it in there. Close the old document. Okay. So the background, I'm going to make some sort of weird color, maybe like, I don't know, purple. Purple, or let's say, actually blue is probably better. Let's go with the blue color. Oops. Background. Background needs to be blue. Okay. Yeah, Hoserlu. I mean, if I have a link, I'll probably post it on my Facebook page or something like that when they do release the news. Let me exit this. So I can see what colors actually are. Okay, very good. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they show. I mean, I've seen pictures of the Batman statues that are done, and it looks really good. but I don't really know what they're going to have in the entire news broadcast. Because the person that does the paint job and everything he's a bit private of a guy. He works for, his company is Dash and Dazzle, and he is at least in the mannequin making world, he's really famous. But he doesn't really sort of, boast about his work. He just posts pictures of it on the internet. And he's a nice guy. But I don't know if he's going to have a thing where he like videos his process, I think I might be the only one with the video of the process, the sculpting process. The rest might be still images. Not really sure. But, yeah, I've never actually seen any of my statues in person. They've always been somewhere else, like in a museum or display or something. So I'm kind of excited to see what they actually shoot. Hey, Randy. So Hoserlu says, I live in New Jersey, so I'll try to find out where his collection and your work is being displayed. Yeah. I know I have a link. I could probably send it to you. They did tell me where it was. But I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I'm not really sure. I lived in New York for, 15 years. I grew up in New York. And we kind of avoided New Jersey. Like, there was nothing really there to go do or anything. So when I was a kid, we went to like Hershey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut, and all of that. But there's nothing super touristy or anything to go look at in New Jersey, unfortunately. Most people say it's mostly highways there. Yeah, Janet, that is true. We have a crazy guy in charge of our internet here in the US. Bunch of liars and cheats and rich people that just want to take advantage. I think it's that way everywhere in the world. You can't escape that. What are you doing, Zach? So let's see here. So hopefully when I delete all this stuff, wondering if the colors are a bit weird here. Huh. Pretty sure I set my camera up properly. But it looks like I don't have it set, the camera set up for tungsten lighting. I could be wrong, but I think I'll have to alter the colors of this final photograph once I get all this green out of here. What do you want, Zach, huh? My cat is wanting, one of my cats is wanting attention. Let's get rid of this. So yeah, it's somewhat of a slow, painful process in Photoshop to get all this stuff out of here, but in the end, it will pay off. I think this is the largest picture that I gotta work on. All the other pictures are pretty small in comparison. This is where all the action is gonna take place. Yeah, there are different ways to go about it, Randy, like this one. I can go here. Right now, I'm just trying to get rid of the bulk of everything before I use those tools. The reason being, because look, See what happens if I use the wand tool? It doesn't really select everything, but when you get in close, like here, see what happens? It actually works. So there is a method to the madness. There is a method. I promise you. The one thing I regret, the last time what I did is I photographed, like this side here is mostly pure green, but this one here has all this plastic stuff that was on the back side of the plexiglass that I have, and I should have removed that before I photographed it, and that's why I gotta do it this way. Yeah, let's see, I'll try to delete that way. Delete. Awesome. Thank you for that. That'll speed things up. See, that's why I'm having you guys watch me do this, because I always learn something. That's a really handy shortcut. Check it out. Talking about using this one. Yep, I know about that one. Oh, really? Hoserly? Oh, that'd be helpful. Yeah. Do you guys have subscriptions to that? The newer Photoshop? Like, it's all subscription based now. Which I don't really care for. Yeah, I know that, Randy. Now, the reason why I'm doing it this way is I'm just trying to get in close. I'm not really too worried about, I mean, I can use this as well. It works. But see, then you gotta, well, yeah, it does work too. I don't really have a preference. Yeah, some of the new Photoshop stuff, it's like you can do animation in it as well, I think. It's sort of like they've taken what used to be Adobe After Effects. They still have After Effects, but they've added functionality, I think, that's pretty similar to After Effects, like the old versions, and incorporated that into Photoshop. So, Hoserlu says, I have one through work, though I barely use it. Oh, really? So, do you like Photoshop over other programs? Like, have you tried Krita? I'm just kind of wondering, like, if you were to compare the current version of Krita to Photoshop, how similar they are. Because, like, for certain things, Photoshop is really good. Like, I kind of need to use this because in terms of importing all these layers and stuff, I think in Krita, I'm not sure, but I don't think you can save the files with the PSD as PSDs from Krita. I could be wrong, but Moho requires a PSD document when you're doing animation. So Rennie says, I have After Effects and I opened it once, then screamed and closed it immediately and never bothered to look again. I just had no interest in tackling it. Haven't needed it so far. I used it. I used a really crappy old version that I had. I forget what version number it is, but I used a really old one from like maybe literally 2001 for my Zombie Pirate Tales intro titles, like the title graphics, and I had the. You can have the letters kind of fly in, you know, and do all kinds of animations with your fonts, and it's like in Photoshop you can have like a drop shadow or you can have outer glow, and it worked pretty good. I mean, I can't complain about it, but I know what you mean. It's not really like art as we know it. It's more like trying to do calculus or something. You know, you're just like, what are all these buttons for? You know. And you can use tutorials and stuff and figure it out, but it's definitely not a very fun process. I kind of liken it to sculpting in ZBrush. You know, it's just such a there are some elements that are really easy to do, but it's so non-intuitive, and they have a lot of. Will you stop, cat? Please stop. There's a lot of stuff that you do, which, like for example, if you want to subtract something in ZBrush, you have to make sure that both objects are dynameshed, which is a fancy term for like adding lots of geometry in a certain way to the surface, and then you have to have the. You could. Oh, cat, here, get off me. Sorry. Then there has to be like a certain order to put things in on the side in terms of your objects. You have to have one object above the other, and you gotta click on a special button on the object, and it doesn't have a minus or a plus. It has like different icons to show subtraction and addition, which don't make any sense really. Like they could just have a plus and or a minus to make it really simple. And so you gotta try to remember stuff which is non-intuitive. And if you mess up any of those things, any of those like 15 different steps, it won't work. And to me, it's just, when you're working with clay or anything else, it's so much simpler. You're just like, okay, subtract, just scoop out some clay, So when they're making something like that, they don't seem to make it with sculptors in mind. They have more or less computer technicians in mind and programmers in mind, because those are the people creating it, and they're not thinking from the standpoint of like, what are sculptors used to doing and how can we recreate that? And every year, and maybe even every 6 months or so, they add more functionality and more complexity to it, and you gotta sort of be like, okay, gotta learn everything all over again or learn new things. It's not really that way with traditional sculpting, right? So Hosrulu says, I have the whole Adobe whole Adobe suite, so Photoshop is part of that. Krita seems easier to use but more limited based upon my very limited use of both. And Hosrulu says, Adobe products are great, but they are tough to learn. And Ken says, right now I'm using Moho for cartoon animation. I colorize everything using Windows Paint, and then I use the masking tool to make the background transparent. Cool. Yeah, it's going to be my first Moho experience. I've never really, animated in it yet, so I just messed around. They've got that sort of alligator character or crocodile character that they give you as a base character to play with, to learn from. And it seems easy, but I mean, this is just my opinion, when you're animating, it's just so much better if you can focus on animation and not technical stuff. Especially, if you're thinking about like how does a character move or something like that, or timing and all those things. You don't really want to be distracted. You want to just be able to put all your effort into that and make it look good. And that's one of the things that I'm hoping Moho will, they'll kind of allow you to do that, I guess. So by the way, I was contemplating before the show if I was going to do this or work on one of the characters, which I forgot to work on, which is there's like the Jester character that I designed in Krita, and I realized I never finished him, never sculpted him. So we do have a character to sculpt once again for this this short film. Alright. I think this will work for the most part. Let me see how that looks up close. It's not too bad. Not too great either. I think the last time I used 90. Yeah, that's better. That's not gonna work. 15 again. So this tolerance thing here helps to make sure that you don't delete stuff too close to your object. So next gen, hey, he says, use the magnetic tool selection brush. Use the magnetic selection for that. There's a magnetic, you mean the magic wand? Magnetic selection tool brush. I think I might be missing that one. Maybe I'm wrong. Magnetic lasso. Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. You can do that. I think the magic think the magic wand though works pretty good. It just automatically does it. See that? This one here, and I remember that the tolerance at 90 was pretty good in these little areas, so that's better. Let me see if there's any more areas like that. So like, well, I don't want to do it there. In fact, I probably want to keep that stuff green. This stuff here might not be selectable. Let's see. Oop. Let's go back to 15 again. It's being a bit difficult. So there we go. Kind of works. So I'm definitely going to have to go in here and clean this up. You know, I'll have to go in with my eraser tool. That's alright though. I knew this side would be a bit messy because of the way that I left that plastic on the back of the acrylic plexiglass, and it didn't leave a nice clean green to work with. That's okay. Like I said, I kind of anticipated that happening. And what I might do, so when you clean stuff up like this, if what you do is you take and turn on stroke, you can see all the stuff that you miss, stuff that's kind of like hanging around. So like here, I would never know that I missed anything there unless I zoomed in like really super close. So I can go back in there with my eraser tools and stuff. See here. And it's gone. I think this side's going to be really messy, whereas this side should be clean. Yep, it is pretty clean. Alright, well anyways, there we have it. So it is past 9 o'clock, so that does conclude our show for tonight. I'm going to save this. Let's go with let's call it that for now. So next week we'll work on this some more, and like I said, we'll get it all cleaned up. We've got to add the sky, the actual sky, from, did I close that one? Oh, yeah, I guess I did. I closed the one document already. But we'll put in a sky and maybe some clouds. And we might also review like what we're going to do for the sky, because I was thinking we could open up in Krita a document that's the same size as these and paint some clouds in there. So we could have a more painterly style look to it. I don't really know if I want to do it that way or not. But I'm going to compare what I have on the one background where I use clay, which is slightly textured, if I'm going to keep that, or if Krita looks better with a painted background. I'm thinking the painted will look nicer. So we'll see. So anyways, thanks everybody for stopping by. And thank you, Randy, for especially Randy for the Photoshop tips. Very helpful and saves some time. And I'll see you guys all later. See you later. All right. See if I can get this to work. Too many things on my computer.